Now here's Caty previewing tonight's sport.
Stephen, they're up and about at Collingwood. We'll have the reaction to yesterday's breakthrough win, a history-making new boss at Hawthorn, and Melbourne victory talking tough ahead of the grand final. Plus, on a mission in the middle, David Warner tees off in the IPL. His stunning stats later in sport.
On that note, here's Caty with Tuesday's sport.
Thanks, Stephen. Injuries hit the Cats, Bombers and Blues. Details next. Australia has a new young golfing star and a player of the day with icing on top. Plus, cheers to that, LeBron's cavalier attitude in the NBA playoffs. Good evening. Essendon coach John Worsfold has backed star midfielder Joe Daniher to bounce back this week against Fremantle. He says his goal-kicking issues are a one-off, while giving opponents a hug is okay to a point. Rob Waters explains.
Joe Daniher kept a low profile at Essendon training, but an odd day last week will keep him in the spotlight.
The must-win game against the Dockers will be Alistair Clarkson's 300th as coach. Bruce says his most memorable moment of Clarkson was when he punched a hole in the wall at the MCG and then asked one of his players to cough up money to repair it. Oh, the memories. Essendon's Jobe Watson says the lure of finals football may influence his decision to play on next year. And he has a theory about why the Bombers will play their best football in the second half of the season. Trent Dan reports.
When Essendon run out on Saturday, there'll be 44. Trent Dan, 10 Eyewitness News.
Storm recruit Nate Miles admits he's got plenty of weaknesses to work on if he's to be a regular in Melbourne's team. The 231-game veteran concedes he copped heavy criticism from coach Craig Bellamy ahead of his debut against the Eels.
To get down here and to get some honest feedback from Craig, which I'm sure everyone else gets, it sort of sits you back a bit, but then again it makes you work a bit harder.
Miles has been named on the bench for the Storm's clash against Canberra on Saturday. Kelly Slater's future on surfing's World Tour appears in serious doubt after a freak injury in South Africa that saw him break several bones in his foot.
Tonight's sport.
Stephen, we cross live to Jonathan Brown to preview the Saints and Giants. Chris Scott calls out his Gold Coast counterpart, a fiery brawl in the NBA playoffs, and us versus them. Kevin Muscat stirs the pot, accusing the A-League of Sydney bias ahead of Sunday's grand final. Good evening. After 2 years in the Friday night wilderness, St Kilda returned to primetime footy tonight at Etihad Stadium against a rampaging GWS. Fox Footy's Jonathan Brown joins us. And Brownie, the Saints' pressure game worked against the Hawks, but will that be enough to topple the Giants?
Well, I think it's going to be a great game tonight, Caty. I think St Kilda's been in pretty good form, and I think they're a good chance to win tonight. 7
goals in the VFL. Would you have picked Paddy McCartan?
Oh, no, look, I'm happy with the way St Kilda's going about it, and they'll move heaven and earth to do that. And just quickly on the Giants, they lose Nick Haynes and Toby Green, but they bring back Phil Davis and Stephen Coniglio. Do those inclusions offset the outs? Not sure. 2 very good inclusions. That's a concern, especially with no Toby Green. OK, thanks so much, Brownie. Looking forward to it. No worries, Caty. All the best. And remember, the best place to see tonight's clash is, of course, live on Fox Footy. Geelong coach Chris Scott has had a subtle whack at Rodney Eade. It didn't hinder the world number 20, who finished the round at 1 under par, but for being a good sport, Phil can have our play of the day. Now, it is a very big day on Sunday. It's my D's against your Hawks. It's also your birthday.
Oh, thank you, Caty.
A big milestone, I understand, Cordy?
No, just another
6
one.
in front of it?
No, 6. And get on the Hawks. They're absolute morals on Sunday.
No way.
They will spank the Demons. Take my word for it.
The Baby Blues tonight face Mission Impossible on the Friday night stage against an in-form Port Adelaide. Fox Footy's Dermot Brereton joins us now. And Derm, the last 2 meetings have been tight, with Carlton getting over the line, but it's shaping as a very different story tonight.
Well, it certainly has. Good evening, Caty. It really has gone for a different betting line as well. Port Adelaide can get on top early. They might inflict some damage tonight.
And Cam Polson will be the Blues' 6th debutant this season. How do you see the balance between blooding youth and winning games of football? Is 6 too many in round 5?
It's a great point. I reckon that's a great point. The young lad, he's from Sandy Dragons. He only played 3 games last year.
Now here's Caty with sport.
Thanks, Stephen. Roger Federer cements his place among the greatest of all time. Scott Pendlebury set for surgery, and 6 and out, Nat 5 commits long-term to Freo. Plus, what's up, Doc? He may be on one leg, but Paddy Dangerfield still has his sense of humour. Dr. Danger's diagnosis is next. After a season playing in England, Kurtley Beale says he's ready to challenge Carmichael Hunt for the Wallabies inside centre jersey for the opening Bledisloe Cup. A nagging hamstring injury didn't faze Beale this morning, who had his dancing shoes on to help launch a special.
Ready, shake a leg. I was a dancer when I was younger, and I kind of went away through it, but that's definitely kind of flick the ticker a bit to kind of get back involved with it, because it is special.
He's got the moves. Beale is one of just 14 Indigenous or Torres Strait Island athletes to play for the Wallabies. Roger Federer didn't have to work this hard for the entirety of Wimbledon. This 61-shot rally featuring Aussie tennis legends Mark Philippoussis and Leighton Hewitt had everything, including 3 through-the-legs shots. So for finally racking up some court time for the Aussies at Wimbledon, Leighton and the Scud can take home our play of the day. Stephen, a massive day in footy. Dusty all clear to play this weekend, and how good is Patrick Danger?
No mention of Hawthorn's Ryan Burton re-signing till 2020.
Paddy stole
the rising
the headlines.
star certainty. Thank you. Paddy, see you later.
Good evening. It's all eyes on the winless Swans tonight in Perth, who face the tough task of getting their season back on track against the West Coast Eagles. Fox Footy's Alistair Lynch joins us now, and Sydney have never lost 4 on the trot in the same season under John Longmire. This is unfamiliar territory for the Swans coach.
It certainly is. They're a very experienced side more often than not. They're probably playing much better than a 0-3 team.
Lynch, you mentioned Buddy Franklin. Of course, he was held goalless last week, but on paper, West Coast don't seem to have an obvious matchup for him. Who gets the job tonight?
Yeah, it's going to be a question I'm sure that Adam Simpson has been mulling over most of the week. But when he comes back, the likes of McGovern, Barras and Yeo will pick him up.
Also, some serious questions being asked of the Eagles, and in particular their midfield pressure. Are they a genuine top 4 threat? Australian golfer Cameron Smith is more than $1 million richer after a breakthrough win on the US PGA Tour. Forced into a sudden death playoff, the 23-year-old showed nerves of steel to sink a putt that'll change his life forever. Trent Simpson reports.
After 76 holes and 5 days of play, Cameron Smith can call himself a champion. Trent Simpson, 10 Eyewitness News.
LeBron James just about had time for a cold one as Cleveland romped home against the Raptors 116-105. James dropped 35 points, 10 rebounds and 4 assists as the Cavs put on a clinic in the semi-final opener. In the West, Patty Mills's San Antonio Spurs were demolished 126-99 by the Houston Rockets. Now, we've seen some bizarre sporting celebrations in our time, but this one takes the cake. After blasting a 43-ball ton in the IPL, Sunrisers captain David Warner got his just desserts from his teammates.
He leads in the front. Congratulations, Davey. Well done, mate.
He deserves a bake for that, or at least someone to hose him down. So for today, at least, we'll break with tradition and give him our spray of the day, with a bit of icing and maybe a cherry on top. Don't even know where to go with that, Stephen.
I don't understand it, but anyway, nice work on the puns anyway, Caty.
I know.
Well done.
It reminds me of that scene from The Bachelor, and it's all kinds of wrong. Eugenie Bouchard has launched a fearsome serve at Maria Sharapova, calling her a cheat who should have been kicked out of tennis. It comes as the controversial Russian won her first match since her doping ban ended. Adam Hawes reports.